Have you spoken to Otto Addo since he started coaching the team?
Yeah, we've spoken, after the match.
Oh, they were friendlies?
Yeah.
Did you tell him that Ghanaians are not happy with the performance of the Black Stars in the Brazil first half?
I will not tell you what I
I'm going to ask you sets of questions and you can only choose one answer about who is good and who is bad. So, Abedi Pele, JJ Okocha.
Abedi Pele. I know that.
Let me come to Dede Ayew, Jordan Ayew.
They are all strikers, right? And Dede shows more in the box than his brother.
Didier Drogba and Asamoah Gyan, who's a better striker?
I'll pick Gyan.
You pick Gyan over Drogba?
Yeah.
Third party, Michael Essien.
Ooh. That's a difficult one. Because I will pick both of them.
No, you have to pick one.
I know.
There's this phenomenon about juju in the Black Stars camp and juju in football generally. Is there some particular juju in the Black Stars camp? Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the show. And guess who is behind me? My good friend Sammy Gyamfi is here. Hello, Sammy. How are you? Okay. Tonight he has been fighting the battle of an appellate battle, as the lawyers will call it. He's preparing to pick up his documents, and with his lawyer, they are going to the Court of Appeal. Why? Because a high court has given a judgment that all political watchers have been particularly interested in. The Minister for Energy, former Minister for Education, and it's significant that we say he's former Minister of Education, you get to understand later on, Matthew Opoku Prempeh, who is also a Member of Parliament for Mensah North constituency, took out a writ in defamation against Sammy Gyamfi, defamation and libel. Mr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, or Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, I should say, alleged against Sammy Gyamfi that he had defamed him in a press conference held by Sammy Gyamfi in his capacity as the NDC's National Communication, what do they call him, Director. National Communications Director of the National Democratic Congress. Mr. Gyamfi in the press conference alleged that a certain Seidu, who had been picked up by the police on allegations or was within the police custody and was put on trial. The trial was going on when Sammy Gyamfi alleged that this person, who is an alleged criminal, used all sorts of words on this guy, that this guy was closely associated with Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. In the press conference, which I'll show you in a minute, Sammy Gyamfi himself actually said that the guy's demeanor, this is the Seidu guy, the alleged criminal, his demeanor whilst he was in the company of the police is indicative of the fact that Seidu was not worried about the outcome of the police process. Now, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh went to the High Court and said Sammy Gyamfi had defamed him because he had associated him with somebody Sammy Gyamfi described as a criminal and with somebody who was undergoing criminal prosecutions. At that time, there was this so-called leaked tape from an NDC meeting, something like that. That matter is still before the High Court, and it had to do with kidnapping people and all of that. So when the kidnapping occurred, there was political counter-accusation between the MPP and the NDC, and the MPP were saying that this is exactly what Ofosu Ampofo is alleged to have said on the tape, that they will be occasioning kidnappings across the country in preparation for election 2022 to make the country unsafe, ungovernable, etc., etc. These were the words that were spoken, the alleged words of the Honorable Samuel Ofosu Ampofo, who is chairman of the NDC. That matter was also in court. Sammy Gyamfi said in his press conference that people now know who is kidnapping and who is not. So tonight we're bringing you the details of the court verdict. The court came to the conclusion that Sammy Gyamfi actually defamed Matthew Opoku Prempeh and therefore asked him to pay Matthew Opoku Prempeh $500,000 Ghana cedis and also to retract and apologize and give the publication, as the courts normally say in defamation judgment, give the publication the same exposure that he gave the alleged false claims. Okay, I'll come to that in detail. Tonight, however, we have two sets of introductions to the show. Mine is what I've done, English, not complete because I've not yet showed you. They'll give me, okay, so they have it there. I've not yet showed you Matthew Opoku Prempeh, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh's, that's him. He's wearing an Asante Kotoko tie. The last time I saw him was at the Kumasi Stadium. We went to watch a Kotoko match. Okay. So I am doing the introduction today in English. So after after we understand how the court came to the conclusion and are asking Sammy Gyamfi to pay 500,000 cedis, for which reason he's climbing upstairs to the Court of Appeal to see whether he can overturn the ruling. Sammy Gyamfi says, however, that the judge may have given the judgment in error because, according to him, his witness, his principal witness, and really only witness, gave a full account to the court. Sammy Gyamfi says that the account that was given by his witness was not taken into consideration by the judge. The lawyers are in the studio and they will tell us what it is. So back to the introduction. This is English introduction for the show. These days we have multilingual. So I'm now going over to my social media and we're going to get an introduction to the program in Mandarin, in Chinese. We are going global, aren't we? Okay, here is our introduction to the show in Mandarin.
大家好，晚上好。就像你们知道的那样，我们又回到了晚上好加纳这个精彩获奖的电视的节目。你们就知道，就像你们就知道的，你们不管在家也好，在酒吧也罢，你们就需要放松自己，在享受，让我们给你们带来最好、最佳的内容。Ines?
Je présenterai les programmes en français. Je suis Ines et bienvenue et bienvenue sur ce programme. Aujourd'hui c'est jeudi. Nous le faisons. Nous sommes ici avec un autre épisode intéressant de Bonsoir Ghana. Détendez-vous et prenez une tasse de café en tant que nous vous servons. Merci beaucoup.
No, I will not be complete if I don't allow Yusuf to say something. Yusuf, you are like me, no Chinese, no French. What do you have to say? Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, so we will be hearing more Chinese, etc., in the studio tonight. We also have some distinguished chiefs who are here to tell us about the Damba Festival. It's occurring all over the northern region, and all northerners across the world are celebrating it. Okay, let me get Sammy Gyamfi's press conference. Let's go through the details, and then I'll go to the lawyers. I'll introduce them to you in a minute, and they can tell us what happened. So. They will give me Sammy Gyamfi's statement and then we can go over it. That this press conference was held sometime, I believe, in 2019, and it was held during. Okay, so let's run through it very quickly. So this is the full text of the press conference, whose contents ended up in the High Court, over which the High Court has today given a firm and conclusive ruling. But as we know, in the court process, it doesn't end with the High Court. Among the Superior Courts of Judicature, High Court, Court of Appeal, and then the Supreme Court, Sammy Gyamfi has indicated that he's going to file. Sometimes they will file a stay of execution so that the 500 will not be paid. I'm not sure whether they've done that, I don't know. But this is the text of what he said. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, he started. Of the press, he said. I welcome you to this urgent press conference to address very critical issues pertaining to the rescue of 2 kidnapped Canadian girls and subsequent arrest of their abductors. This press briefing will be very short, and we implore you for your full attention. Our mission this afternoon is to address very disturbing revelations about the identities of the suspects who have been arrested in connection with the kidnapping of the 2 Canadian girls. He went on. Friends from the media, but before we proceed any further, permit me to put this issue in the right perspective so that you can better appreciate our reasons for this press briefing. Ladies and gentlemen, he said, that Ghanaians are not living in normal times is beyond question, given the preponderance of violent crime in Ghana today, which has assumed a new dimension in the form of kidnappings and abductions. Ordinarily, he said, matters of security should not become one for political goal scoring, given the fact that our dear nation, which used to be the only beacon of peace in West Africa sub-region, is now a hotbed of violent crime. At a time like this, we should have called for a deep national reflection on our vulnerabilities and what could be done to stem this negative tide. Distinguished friends, he said, we are, however, compelled to make these disclosures we are about to make because of how the NPP has politicized issues of security and how they have sought to blame and demonize the NDC for the growing levels of insecurity in the country. Indeed, this phenomenon did not start today. It goes without saying that when it comes to the issue of politicizing security, President Akufo-Addo and his NPP are kingpins in this enterprise, as they virtually blamed President Mahama and the NDC for everything under the sun whilst they were in opposition. They peddled, he said, a lot of falsehood about Mahama's administration, all because of power, and promised to make Ghana safer and more secure than the NDC was doing. On page 147 of the MPP 2016 manifesto, President Akufo-Addo and his MPP claimed that Ghanaians are becoming increasingly concerned about their security due to the increasing levels of crime and lawlessness under the Mahama-led NDC government, unquote. He says, today, Ghanaians do not feel safe, unquote. Rather, this is quoting Akufo-Addo speaking. All right, we move on. Sammy Gyamfi continues. They, therefore, promised Ghanaians that, quote, the MPP government will secure peace and security for all Ghanaians under the MPP government. Ghanaians will feel safe on the streets and in their homes, unquote. He continues. Friends from the media, today, the MPP is in power. And what is the state of our security, he asked. Ghana's security is in complete shambles and tatters. State-backed goons have unleashed terror on courts, hospitals, security officials, NDC supporters, and innocent citizens. The politicized, biased, and unprofessional CID of the Ghana Police Service has become a political tool for harassing leading figures of the opposition. The coercive force of state is being deployed for state-sanctioned hounding of key figures of the NDC, including our national chairman, Honorable Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, on grounds of political expediency. Ordinarily, Sammy Gyamfi continues, ladies and gentlemen, the matters of kidnapping of 2 Canadian girls should not be a matter for political discourse, given its serious implications for national security and our diplomatic relations with the Canadian state. However, the fact remains that Akufo-Addo's government has sought to demonize the NDC and its national chairman in its desperate attempt to conceal their security failures and destroy the hard-earned reputation of our chairman and the NDC as a whole. This Akufo-Addo government, he says, has in the past few months accused and put the national chairman of the NDC through emotional and psychological trauma over false and malicious charges of kidnapping. But today, our God, who is faithful in all his ways, has vindicated Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo and the NDC. Distinguished friends of the Inky fraternity, Sammy Gyamfi continued, in the circumstances, we are left with no other option than to clear the name of our highly esteemed national chairman and the NDC by unmasking and exposing the true identities and political affiliation of the people who are behind recent cases of abduction and kidnapping in the country. The Akufo-Addo government, he said, has superintended over the pathetic nose-diving of our security through the formation, training, and encouragement of vigilante groups, members of which have now become Frankenstein monsters devouring innocent citizens. It is scary to reveal that the kidnapping of the Canadian girls, which has shocked our nation as the latest in the rising state of kidnappings in Ghana, was largely orchestrated by hoodlums and bandits who are key and active members of militia groups of the New Patriotic Party. Colleagues from the media, Sammy Gyamfi continued, very typical of the Akufo-Addo government, which has perfected the act of subterfuge and diversion in concealing its failures. After 24 hours of such a high-profile arrest of the kidnapper, the entire nation is being kept in the dark as to the real faces behind that dastardly act. However, as government tries behind the scenes to manipulate state security into concealing the true identities of these criminals, we did not go to sleep. He continues, through our painstaking and diligent investigations, we have unmasked these thugs behind the recent kidnapping, and we shall proceed to share the chilling details with the Ghanaian people so that they will know the manner of people who are leading us today. Okay, continues. The ringleader of this syndicate, who goes by the name Seydou Yakubu, aka Mba, has identified himself as a member of the New Patriotic Party (NPP). Speaking on Kumasi-based Fox FM, Seydou openly declared that he is a known member of the New Patriotic Party and, in fact, the founder of the Abu Abu fan club of the NPP. This evidence is incontrovertible proof of Seydou's membership of the New Patriotic Party. Seydou's association with the NPP is more than meets the eye. He is alleged to be the personal bodyguard of Asokore Mampong MCE, Alhaji Alidu Seydou, and an errand boy for both Menchia South MP, Honorable Matthew Poku Prempeh, and Ashanti Regional Chairman of the party, Bernard Antwi Bosiako, aka Chairman Wontumi. Far-reaching allegations made by Sammy Gyamfi. He says here that the Seidu guy is the personal bodyguard. That is verifiable, that's ascertainable, of the Sorokore Mampong MC Alhaji Alidu Seidu. I mean, that's verifiable because if they say somebody's your bodyguard, you have to be seen with him regularly. There'll be videos, there'll be photos. He's followed you to events, public events that people see. So that's verifiable. My concern, though, is saying that this guy is said to be an errand boy of Napo Matthew Poku Prempeh. Now, how do you establish, what is the basis to establish that somebody is another's errand boy in law, in court? Sammy Gyamfi is a lawyer, called to the bar. Well, how do you do this? You see, this is the problem we have in this country. Let's focus the debate on the intellectual, the evidence, the narrative. You say a criminal is errand boy for Paul Ademochi. What does it mean? If Paul Ademochi comes to the court and says he's not my errand boy, how does the court determine? What is the basis? What is even the standard of determining that somebody is somebody's errand boy? You may be right, it may be true, but it's a very difficult situation to establish. And therefore, you don't use a narrative that is difficult to establish to libel, if you like, defame another. You can say anything you want. Like he says, he's his bodyguard. That's verifiable. Bodyguard, we can find out. If he is, he is. If he's not, he's not. But errand boy, what does it mean? errand boy. I'm everybody's errand boy. You can call me and send me, I'll buy you watching. That's okay. So who's errand boy? How would you show that somebody is somebody's errand boy? The lawyers will tell us, and we'll go through the cross-examination of the witness that was presented by Sammy Gyamfi, and then you understand what really happened. Okay, let's move on though. He says he's also an errand boy of Chairman Wontumi. Wontumi himself is an errand boy. He says that all the time. Wontumi is an errand boy. So if Wontumi were to sue you, and he comes to court in cross-examination and tells Sammy Gyamfi's lawyer that I am an errand boy. Seidu is not I'm errand boy for regional minister, I'm errand boy for Akufo-Addo, I'm errand boy for Alhaji Bawumia, I'm errand boy. What are you going to do about that? And then you'll be heading towards losing a libel case, which means you pay money, and in default of paying money, there could be other considerations. And so that's the problem. Things must be said in such a way that we can verify it, especially if people are important political figures. As we can all testify in the group picture of the kidnappers making the rounds, Sammy Gyamfi continues, Seidu, he says, is seen in a strangely relaxed and unflustered manner as to suggest that he is not bothered because of his influence in the NPP. In fact, some NPP leaders have openly confessed their association with Seidu. Now, this paragraph is completely empty. This paragraph of the press statement is absolutely empty. Director of communications of an important political party cannot put out this, especially when you are mentioning other people's names and linking a crime to the relations of other, linking the committing of a crime or the allegation of a crime to other people who are holding important public office. This is not what was this? He says, as we can testify in the group picture, they said that the Seidu guy in the group picture with the police is looking unflustered. When Nelson Mandela was arrested in Soweto, and when he was pronounced a guilty verdict, he was saying, Amandla Awetu, he was in high spirit. Does it mean that Nelson Mandela knew that somebody was going to release him? I mean, that the guy, you look at the photo, and that's also a matter of interpretation. I may look at the photograph and think that the guy is sad. He looks at the photograph and say, oh, look at the guy, he's unflustered, because he knows that it's very, very empty. It is intended, perhaps, to make other people look bad. And I'm just saying that that's not really fair. You can tell other people when they've done something bad, but this is not the way to do it if you're an important person. If you're not so important like me, you can say anything. But if you're an important person like the director of communication of a major political party, whatever you say must be verifiable. It must be evidence. The chronology of the presentation must make sense to a lot of people. That's how we build a country. I can say anything. I'm not nothing. We can just tune off right now, can't you? You can tune off. But you cannot tune off Sammy Gyamfi because he's the director of communication of the NDC, a party that is waiting to take the reins of power, a party that has taken the reins of power before. So when our politicians talk like this, then it devolves down to other people, all of us. Then we all start talking anyhow, as they used to say, talking by heart. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that responsible politicians you can say anything you want about anybody. But you have to say it in a way that's your chronological presentation, your narrative, the analysis of it. And when we take it and do a content analysis, smaller persons like us will not stand and say that what you are saying is empty, because this is actually empty. What does it mean? The guy was unflustered, and he says, in fact, some MPP leaders have openly confessed association with Seidu. Some MPP leaders. What does it mean? Anyway, let's move on. Number 2, he says another suspect, one Abdul Rahman, aka Wafa, has been identified as the owner of the car that was used for the operation. He is a resident of Sawaba and a known operative of the MPP. He is always in the company of Seidu. Okay, this is a car identified as an owner, verifiable. DVLA, verifiable. So you can say that if you say that and you go and it's not that, it's not that. If it's that, it's that. But at least put out something that we can verify. But if you say the guy looks like he's unflustered, because that one, we can't verify it. And if that goes to court, there'll be trouble. Another suspect, one Abdurrahman, this is a repetition, sorry. Okay, let me get to the second paragraph. It's not a repetition. He's always in the company of Seidu. In fact, the Daily Guide, a pro-MPP newspaper, in a story published today, accompanied with a photograph of Abdul Rahman, has confirmed that he is a member of the kidnapping gang. 3, he says, we have also identified a third suspect called Sadat Oboi, who sported a red sweater in the pictures that have been circulated. He is a motorcycle dealer and a known member of the MPP's Delta forces in the Asawase constituency. In fact, he is always in the company of Seidu Imba. All right. A fourth suspect identified, Safiano Alokere, could be seen wearing dreadlocks and limping on one of his legs. Safiano Alokere is a well-known MPP member and a motorcycle mechanic. His limping condition was occasioned by an accident resulting from leading a convoy of the then candidate Akufo-Addo in 2008 electioneering campaign. Okay, can we verify that? I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, he says, we have amply demonstrated to you that the ringleader and mastermind of the nefarious kidnapping of the 2 Canadian girls are not ordinary criminals. These are party thugs associated with the new patriotic party vigilante group Delta Forces in the Ashanti region. We in the NDC, he says, have always maintained that the phenomenon of political party vigilantes could have the potential of a tailspin into full-blown violent crime. This is because criminals will always remain criminals, irrespective of whether they are clothed in party colors or not. The devil will always find work for idle hands, and after using these thugs for the purpose of winning elections, President Akufo-Addo and the MPP have abandoned them to fend for themselves in their quest for survival in these difficult times, resulting to kidnapping has become a lucrative venture for them. Indeed, today, the world has seen the true character of President Akufo-Addo and the MPP. They are reaping the fruits of the evil seed they planted. Their evil agenda against the NDC and the national chairman has backfired terribly. We now know who the real kidnappers are and the political party they belong to and work for. We urge all Ghanaians to continue to remember our nation in prayer at this difficult time. May God deliver us from the oppressive and treacherous rule. Thank you for coming. And it's signed by Sammy J. Okay, so if you were Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh and you heard this, you won't be happy. Like they say that the guy is your errand boy. Whatever errand boy means, I don't know. But that's what they said. So Matthew Opoku Prempeh decided, look, I'm not going to let this thing pass. I'm going to court. He didn't say much. I mean, today's the first day I even heard that he's ever gone to court on this matter. He didn't tell anybody. He didn't broadcast it. He just filed a writ. Today, the High Court says Sammy Gyamfi was wrong. You have to pay Napo 500,000 cedis and apologize to him. What you said was baseless. Sammy Gyamfi says, I'm going on appeal because my witness, the one I brought to the court to testify to the things I said, the judge did not take his testimony into account. Why did that happen? Lawyer Balfour is in the studio. He prosecuted the case and he's going to tell us. By the way, we sent text to your opponent, Sammy Gyamfi and Edudzi Tamaklo, so they know you're here. And we told them that we will mention that they are on appeal. So tell us, why did Napo go to court?
I think that he has always held the view that public office has a standard which is very high, and that once you are in that space, you need to maintain that standard of being above, certain things, including the kind of association you even engage in. And so he felt that the comment had defamed him because he had been associated with a person who had been described as a criminal and a hoodlum, a bandit, and indeed the ringleader of a kidnapping syndicate at a time when the kidnapping of the Canadian girls had become a global issue. And so therefore the lenses of the world, were on Ghana. And so when you have somebody saying or making such a comment at that material time, clearly you are exposing him to ridicule or reducing him in the estimation of the minds of the right-thinking members of society, not just in Ghana, globally. So he needed to vindicate himself. Because in this day of the internet, when you type Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, these are some of the stories that would have ordinarily come up. Now, with this decision of the court, people would also get to know that he went to court to vindicate himself.
So basically, the case you were prosecuting is that the words used by Sammy Gyamfi to link Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, your client, with the alleged criminal was such that it was unfair to Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh.
Yes, I mean, he reduced him in the eyes and minds of the right-thinking members of society as that somebody of that standing will be having or will have the ringleader of a kidnapping syndicate as an errand boy. I mean, it's not proper.
Was the court interested in the definition of an errand boy?
No, the court wasn't interested in the definition because of the way things turned out. It would have become necessary if, for instance, they've been able to establish that indeed there was some association, at which point the next level would have been whether or not that association amounted to.
So they were not able to establish an association at all between Seidu and Matthew Poku Prempeh. They couldn't establish that at least they know each other. They couldn't establish that.
You see, and that is why, very respectfully, when you invited me, I felt the need to come because I had seen certain things being put out, making it seem as though they were unfairly treated
in the trial.
In the trial,
yes.
And indeed,
they've said so.
Exactly. And so then it becomes necessary to put some of these things out. Even before you have the full judgment to read and appreciate what actually went on. You see, as you are aware, when I allege defamation against you, what is important, right? There are ingredients of that which I must prove, right? It's been established by our Supreme Court.
Yeah.
It's either that the words used in its natural sense constitute defamation,
yes,
or the circumstance of it or the context amounts to defamation. We went to court saying that within the context in which the comment was made, it was defamatory, right? Now they came to court firstly owning up to the comment. He said he was responsible for making that comment.
Yeah, but he couldn't deny that. It was a public press statement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so therefore, it was no longer in dispute. The court then had to determine...
That he had made the statement or not was not in dispute. Yeah.
The court then had to determine whether or not, indeed, within the context in which the statement was made, right, some defamation had been occasioned. And the court said yes. By referring to Seidu as the ringleader of the kidnapping syndicate, by describing him as a hoodlum, by describing him as a bandit, indeed, you had cast him in a certain light. And then after casting him in that light, you associate him with Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, right? You have defamed him. Especially so when Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh had described himself of being a certain standard, and you don't dispute that indeed is of that status and standard, then you have defamed him. Now, the burden then has shifted to you, right, to prove one of three things. One, that the statement was true. Two, that it was fair comment. And three, it was not made with malice. Interestingly, Sammy Gyamfi never in a statement of defense pleaded that the statement was true. He never. And Paul, you are aware of the rules of
I don't understand.
In a statement of defense,
He didn't say that.
He never said that.
That Seydou is an error. So he said the statement is mine. He owned up to the statement.
He owned up to the
Okay,
statement.
and he didn't say that Seydou is an errand boy of Dr. Opoku Prempeh. It's true. He didn't say that.
He never said that. All he said was that the statement was based on facts that they had gathered. Indeed, when you look at his witness statement, Paul, paragraph 20 of his witness statement, Sammy said the statements were based on facts that had been gathered, which were verifiable.
Yeah, so he says it's true then.
No. All that he's saying is that he doesn't know about it as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that is verifiable.
Exactly.
But errand boy, is it verifiable?
No. Wait. Oh, yes. An errand boy is somebody who runs errands. I mean, somebody who goes about doing things for people.
For how long?
Well, it is for him to prove.
Yeah, but it's going to be very difficult to say somebody is somebody's errand.
Exactly. But he didn't go on even that tangent. Now, to prove that indeed the statement was true, because he himself was not a witness to it, so he couldn't say that I knew about it for a fact, and he had not stated that at any point in the processes that he filed before the court. Sammy then brought a certain Mahfouz Jibril. Mahfouz Jibril's witness statement was to the effect that he knows Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. And the reason why he knows Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh is that he lives in his constituency.
Which is Menchia South.
Menchia South.
Okay.
So his claim to knowing Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh.
That he's his constituent.
Is his constituent.
Yeah, so he knows him, yeah.
Now, in the witness statement, this gentleman says he lives in Sepe.
In Kumasi.
In Kumasi. Oh, Sepe is also not in the Menchia South constituency. It's rather in Menchia North constituency.
Oh, but South and North.
Well, but you say you live in the constituency. There's more to it. Wait. On the day that he mounted the witness box, the gentleman now says he lives in Ashtown.
Ashtown is Menchia South.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, this gentleman is then confronted in the witness box during cross-examination.
So he changes the place that he lives.
He changes the place.
Does he seek leave of the court to amend his document?
No, he
Could
didn't.
he have done that?
He could have filed a supplementary witness statement.
To amend that one.
But no, you could have filed a witness statement and withdrawn the first one, right? Even before he went into the witness box, he could have done that. Now, when this gentleman mounted the witness box, then we asked him, you filed your witness statement on this date, is that not correct? He said yes. And when you filed your witness statement, at the you said that whatever you have stated is true, is that not correct? He said yes. Then Paul, we went on to say that when you came to this court today, you said you live in Ashtown, is that not correct? Then he says yes. But in your witness statement, you said you live in Sepe. He said you live in Sepe. Then this is his answer. Paul, listen. The reason why I told the court that I live in Ashtown is because I was born in Ashtown. I grew up there. I work at Ashtown. I only go to Sepe to sleep after work, after my day's work. Which is which?
Well, but that's not so unintelligent, I should say. He's making a point that he lives in Ashtown, so he knows about the occurrences and doings in Ashtown. He will know the Ashtown MP because he spends a lot of his time in Ashtown. That's really what he was saying.
You see, the reason why this gentleman said he knows the MP is because he lives in his constituency.
Yes, I don't know why his lawyers didn't amend the thing if their case is true.
Oh, I'm coming. Then, in that statement where he said the reason why I know him is because I live in his constituency. He says that he lives in Sepe.
Yes.
Which
is not in the constituency.
Exactly.
But if you backtrack to 3 elections, it will be in the constituency.
No, at the time this incident happened,
I understand that.
It was not
yeah,
there.
Yeah, but then, how old is he? Do you know?
No.
Was he old enough in the last 3 elections?
Yes.
Yeah, so he probably was living in Mesha. It was Mesha constituency.
Well,
then sometime we said Mesha, not Mesha.
You know the principle about a competent witness.
Yes, fair enough. So what then did the courts agree?
Now, this gentleman had also attached a newspaper report, which is supposed to be a report of happenings that took place in the year 2012, where he said that he was attacked by Seydou Imba.
He himself, the witness.
He the witness.
Sami Jemfi's witness.
Sami Jemfi
was attacked by Seydou Imba.
Seydou Imba.
Who is the subject matter.
Who is the subject matter. And this gentleman says that, look, at the time I was attacked by Seydou Imba, I was in the company of, Seydou Imba was in the company of Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh.
In the 2012 episode.
In the 2012 episode. Now, the report, we ask him, there is nowhere in this report that Seydou Imba is mentioned in the report.
The report that is the narrative reporting his potential attack or alleged attack, whatever it was, on political grounds. Is that what he's saying?
That's what he's saying.
It was a political attack.
That's right.
He was attacked by MPP. He's NDC.
He's NDC.
He was attacked by MPP people in 2012, and he says that at the time when he was being attacked, Dr. Opoku Prempeh Napo was in the company of his attacker, who is the same Seydou Imba.
That's right.
But did the report say that? The report he showed to the court?
The report never mentions Seydou Imba.
But the report says that Jibril was attacked.
The Mahfouz Jibril, the name Mahfouz Jibril, which is captured in the report, is different from the Mahfouz Jibril who appeared in the court.
Different by spelling or what?
Different by spelling.
Did you ask him that?
Yes. We suggested to him.
Is he the same Mahfouz Jibril?
We suggested to him that we suggest to you that you are not the same Mahfouz Jibril which is captured by that report, because
it's a newspaper report.
It's a newspaper report.
So the newspaper is there, it's available.
Yes, it's available.
Did you ask the newspaper, the reporter, the editor?
Yeah.
Or you went to do all that?
No, it was not necessary because the burden was on them to prove.
Okay, so you suggested to him that he may not be the same person.
Yes.
What did he say?
He said he's the same person. Then we showed him the differences in spelling, right? And he said that yes, some people spell his name differently. And then we suggested to him that there's nothing to confirm to this court that you, this gentleman standing in this court, you are indeed Mahfouz Jibril. No identification, nothing.
And this report mentions Mahfouz Jibril as the victim.
It mentions Mahfouz.
It doesn't mention Seydou Imba as the attacker.
Exactly.
The aggressor, nothing.
No.
It doesn't mention Matthew Poku Prempeh at all.
It mentions Matthew Poku Prempeh, as having been in the company of some people when the violence occurred. But Seydou Imba is not mentioned.
Did the report talk about the perpetrators of the violence at all?
They said they have run away.
That's all.
That's
no
all.
Names were mentioned.
No names. I think one person was mentioned, but it was never Seydou Imba. But the subject of this suit was Seydou Imba.
Yeah, I get it.
And so,
so fundamentally, even if your client Napo was there, but the said Seydou Imba is not mentioned in the story, then it's not basis for evidence.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not.
And so the gentleman you brought, this gentleman has controversy over where he actually lives, because that was the foundation upon which
he lives at Sepe,
well,
but he works at Ashtown.
But that is not what his witness statement said. Paul, it only became it is an afterthought. You know it. When you see, the best one.
So the court concluded and was convinced that it's an afterthought?
The court concluded.
Did you cross-examine Sami Jemfi in the court?
Yes, I cross-examined Sami Jemfi.
What did he tell you?
Sami Jemfi. Okay, so when Sami Jemfi then realized that the testimony of his witness had collapsed, then he mounted the witness box.
Oh, he came after the witness?
Exactly.
Not before?
No. We had...
Did he give an examination in chief, Sami Jemfi?
Yes.
He did?
He did.
And you didn't cross-examine him?
No. You see, the principle is now that examination evidence in chief is now reduced into witness statement.
Oh, I see. So he doesn't talk?
He doesn't talk.
Okay.
So until he mounts the witness box to tender
to be a witness to the matter. You cannot cross-examine, okay.
And we had... I'm going to share something with you. We had anticipated that Sami Jemfi himself will not go into the witness box.
Yeah.
But I think he was relying on Mahfouz Jibril. That gentleman they call Mahfouz Jibril. Whether or not he's indeed Mahfouz Jibril is another thing altogether. But they couldn't even prove he's the Mahfouz Jibril in court.
Did he have Ghana card?
He didn't bring any form of
passport.
Nothing. No form of identification.
Zero identification.
Zero identification, Paul.
What?
And anybody
To be a witness in court.
Exactly. Anybody at all can walk into the court and say, "I am Paul Adomoche."
Yeah, of course.
And so the court
But
couldn't.
didn't the court demand that?
No, but you are doing your case, Paul. The court doesn't do your case
Okay,
for
well,
you.
we are in common law,
Yes,
not civil law.
So, Paul, we suggested to him that there's nothing before this court confirming that you are indeed the Mahfouz Jibril, who is captured in the story. We
They
suggested
didn't bring anything.
nothing.
Why?
Nothing whatsoever.
I'm totally shocked.
Nothing
A
whatsoever.
lawyer prosecuted this matter. Now, forgive me, but I can't believe it.
Paul, nothing.
Okay, did they bring other people to identify him?
No. No.
You know, I'll share one minute story with you. We're running out of time. but hold on, let the
So
viewers.
I'm also suggesting to you that there's no credible evidence before this court confirming that the plaintiff was arrested as you are alleged, right? And then we suggested to him that he is not the Mahfouz Jibril who is captured in the story. So when Sami then realized that Mahfouz Jibril, the purported Mahfouz Jibril's testimony had collapsed, then he decided to be the last killer. He mounted the witness box. And for the first time in this case, Sami then comes to say that me, Sami Gyamfi, I personally know that Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, right, has a relationship with Seydou Imba.
A relationship.
Yes.
He didn't say errand.
No. He said he's seen them together whilst they were working at KMA. Whilst Sami Gyamfi was working at KMA, he's seen them together during Akweside at Menchia.
That's not strong enough. Plenty of people go to Menchia for Akweside.
So, but you see, Paul, what Sami failed to realize was that was a clear, contradiction to his own witness statement. Yeah. Because he has stated that everything he has said
is based
on facts that he had gathered,
based
not on personal knowledge.
Yeah, and then he comes to the witness box. He's now adducing evidence in a personal capacity.
Exactly. So the judge analyzed or evaluated all these things and came to the conclusion that they were not credible.
Oh, so that's why he didn't take into account their testimony.
Exactly.
Which is his complaint, which is the basis of his complaint.
Exactly.
Right?
And the judge is entitled to make those observations.
I'm telling you that I'm shocked about this identification because when I in 2001 as a reporter, I covered the Quality Grain case. And then it got very boring for us as journalists because somebody mounted the witness box. He said, "What is your name?" And we are wondering why the judge is asking Kwame Pepra his name. Don't you know Kwame Pepra? And the lawyers will explain to us it doesn't work like that.
Yes.
He says, "My name is Kwame Pepra." And then the judge says, "Can anybody identify him here?" And then the other accused persons, Ibrahim Adam, will stand up and the prosecutor, Safo Sampon, it was in those days, may he rest in peace, the DPP, he'll ask Ibrahim Adam that, "Who is this man?" He said, "Kwame Pepra." Then he will say, even the most boring words of it, he said, "Is he the same said Kwame Pepra who has been accused of?" Ibrahim Adam will say yes. They say, "Is he the same said Kwame Pepra who was Minister of Finance?" He will say yes. And then another person will come and then the judge says, "Okay, now we are satisfied that this is Kwame Pepra, let's move on." And we found that very boring. But in later years, of course, my other associations made me to know that it's very, very necessary.
Yeah.
But I can't, so they came, oh my goodness. So the guy came to court without identification.
No form of identification. A guy with
they should have arrested
a messy hair.
They should have arrested him.
But a guy with a messy hair.
Maybe it's Rastafarian, that's the religion.
Well,
So.
No, but messy hair. Yeah. This guy claims that in that melee in 2012, he suffered some cuts. He didn't show evidence of that those cuts before the court. When Sami Gyamfi mounted the witness box, I intentionally sought to do damage, damage that through, do damage through him. Then he said, "Well, it is your job. It was your job to have sought that information from you." And said, "Look."
Oh, you were inviting him to confirm whether or not the guy had those cuts here.
When the guy came to court, there was no cut. He said, "But you are the lawyer. You didn't elicit that from him." At that point, I laughed.
Did your client also get cross-examined?
No. I decided not to put him on the witness box. Rather,
Okay.
I made him give a power of attorney to somebody who was very familiar, of this.
So that person was cross-examined?
That person was cross-examined.
Did that person bring an ID card to the court to identify himself?
Well, that it wasn't an issue.
Why?
His identification was not an issue.
Why?
No, because nobody challenged the fact that he was authorized to testify for the plaintiff.
Okay, so
Right.
the other lawyer didn't say, produce your ID card for me to know that you say you are who you are?
And indeed, his identification was not even necessary
Why?
because, you see, he was not somebody who was, who had put himself out as being able to confirm a particular situation. In the case of Mahfouz Jibril, he had elected to, testify in confirmation or to establish a particular or a material fact, right? And so his identification really and truly was necessary because he had come to court to say that this is exhibit 4, right? A story where, I was butchered, and those people who butchered me had Seydou Imba as part of them, right? Now, first and foremost, we must establish who you are.
Okay, fair enough. I get that. So this was quite simple for the judge, wasn't it?
Yes.
So the judge then decided to dismiss the only witness that Sammy Gyamfi had.
Yeah.
So all the judge had was to dismiss the case.
Yeah.
And what was to approve your suit?
No, so Sammy Gyamfi's defense crumbled.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. From what
Now,
you are saying.
So what it means is that we had established our defamation, his defense had crumbled, the judge would then have to move on to determine damages, right? Oh, in Sammy Gyamfi's own witness statement, he has stated that that kidnapping event had dented Ghana's image on the international plane.
Yeah.
But if that is so, then anybody who has been associated with it, by extension, had had his image damaged, right? But do we need any further proof? Indeed, defamation is actionable per se, but you yourself have admitted that the event
had damaged Ghana's reputation. Therefore, if you associate somebody with an event that has damaged Ghana's reputation, then the damage that you have occasioned to the person's reputation is obvious.
Exactly.
Okay, why were you asking for 500,000
No, I
cedis?
asked for 1 million cedis. At the time, the cedi had not depreciated. It was quite a significant sum at the time. But
Has the
unfortunately,
city depreciated? You are going to bring Asemo. We are not talking about city depreciation. You are talking about Sammy Gyamfi and you are saying city depreciation.
Well, I'm saying that at the
and
time,
then you respond and say that did you watch the program? They started talking about their
but
depreciation.
at the time, it was huge money.
Okay, so at the time you 1 million was
1 million,
in,
and the judge
in
gave
dollar
me-
terms was big, and the judge gave you 500,000
500,000
cedis.
cedis.
Okay, so but now that they are going on appeal, they are not going to pay that money yet.
No. Oh, it doesn't constitute a stay of execution.
But they may file for one. Is it too late to file for one?
No, you can file, but the judges will determine whether
Yeah, I mean they may file for one and they may obtain it.
they may obtain it.
Yeah.
But Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh is not a man of straw. Right? And so I don't see the exceptional circumstance in this matter. Right? I don't see the real likelihood of success.
From what you are saying,
And I
that
don't
it
see-
doesn't
yes.
appear.
You know,
So what's the Court of Appeal going to determine then? They're going to determine
The Court of-
the basis on which the Sammy Gyamfi's witness statement, Sammy Gyamfi's witness, what do you call him? His, who is he? He's a witness to
Mahfouz Jibril,
Yes.
DW1.
DW1, that's defense witness 1.
Yeah.
The Court of Appeal is going to determine whether the exclusion of the testimony of defense witness 1 was valid or not.
No, so it depends on the notice of appeal, the grounds they file. If they say there was a misdirection or an error of law, right? Or
If they allege an error of law.
that's right.
Then
Then
the Court of Appeal will
then
look
they
at
will
it.
have to give the
So
particulars.
the Court of Appeal is not going to bring back Jibril.
He's going to
It's not going to bring back.
No.
They're just going to trial
An appeal-
the ruling,
the court,
the judgment.
the judgment.
The judgment is on trial.
So the Court of Appeal, in determining an appeal, rehears the matter, but they don't call any witness. They only evaluate the record before them. So they will determine whether or not the judge's position that the inconsistencies on the part of Sammy Gyamfi's witness made his testimony not to be credible.
Yeah, okay.
So they are going to determine that whether or not it amounts to an error of law or a misdirection. So the Court of Appeal will determine that. You know?
Okay. Cameraman, get ready and get us a photograph of the lady who did the cross-examination so we can congratulate her. Tornado, you're standing in the way because you're going to pick that lady. And we'll end the conversation here. Bafo has done a good job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're going to be paid a lot of money. You're dealing with Minister of Energy. You know?
Well, I mean, he's my big brother.
Okay, so
I
this
don't-
is the lady who actually did the cross-examination of Mahfouz Jibril. That's her. Wave to the camera. Thank you very much. She doesn't want us to see her face, so she has her mask on. I'm actually coughing. Oh, you are coughing? Oh, you're being responsible. Okay. So you get some rest tomorrow. It's a Friday. Congratulations. You've done well. And Lawyer Bafo, it looks like you're training your people very well. So this is a good defamation case that you believe that you have won, even though you have Court of Appeal and potentially Supreme Court to deal with.
Paul, look. Well, you see, when you lose a battle, obviously there can be a bad blood reaction. You know, when you lose a battle, obviously there can be a bad blood reaction. You know, as I sit here, I've got appeals that I'm doing written submissions for. Initially, I had a certain position. In drafting my written submission, I'm really suffering. You know, it happens to all of us. So maybe they will sleep and reflect on it.
And see that they don't need appeal at
Indeed,
all.
when Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh's witness attorney mounted the witness box, he said that post the statement, people called him to express concern about the statement, and that statement was never challenged. And the judge made reference to that in his witness statement, in his judgment. What is the effect of it? The effect of it is that you've admitted it. And all these things went into the judge's determination of damages. And Paul, the Court of Appeal does not interfere in an award of damages in a vacuum. They do so when you've established clear disregard by the court of the principles governing damages.
Okay, so they may be looking for an amendment of the damages to reduce it from 500 to 200.
Yes. But as I sit here, well, it's discretionary. And it's not easy challenging the court's discretion. Anything can happen, so let's watch them. It is possible you win a case at the High Court, you lose a case at the High Court, you can lose it at the Court of Appeal and win at the Supreme Court. Anything is possible. But for me, my client's instructions are that I should go all out and enforce the judgment.
Okay, so you are preparing to do that from tomorrow?
Yes.
All right, we're running out of time. Would you be watching the World Cup in Qatar?
Yes, Paul.
Okay, we had interviewed CK Akono yesterday. We're going to show it now.
Yes,
he had quite a bit to say.
Yes,
How are you doing, though? How is Julio de Medeiros these days?
Well, I spoke to him this evening.
Yeah.
You know,
please send my warmest regards to him.
Okay,
social media, do you have something on the court case? Okay, so let's start with you. Let's do two each. We have a very heavy schedule this evening. Thank you very much, Bafo.
Thank you very much.
What are they saying? You have to wait and listen to what the people are saying about what you said. Yes, Yusuf, can you start?
Yes, Christian Jata Vuga says, "Good evening, Paul. Please, I always watch your program and I love it. But the only problem I had with you is why do you always start the program after 9 instead of starting the time, which is 9? Miftahu Tamali Sabunjida says, "It's all of our leaders do more of these to sanitize our political space. The excessive fabrication, lies and propaganda is making a lot of young people lose interest in the country, and that's bad for the future of the country."
Okay, so this is from Yusuf Abdul Rahman Gwa. He says, "Good evening, Paul. You're doing a good job. What's happening to Jemfi is a lesson to some of the NDC communicators who think they can defame people and go scot-free. Napo is a man of good hard-earned reputation, which he has worked hard for. Sami should take this as a lesson and go and sin no more." This is also from Omo Baye Bahama. He's saying, "We going international indeed." Lastly, this is from Ima Aye. "The show that never starts on time, but you can't also go to bed without it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But this defamation can't fly because what the politicians do is that they will look for a high-profile person to go and beg Napo."
Aledi Umar from the University of Education Winneba is saying, "Paul, what is Sammy Jemfi going to do in the Supreme Court again? Are they not those who are making mockery of the same court by calling the judges 7-0 FC? Now, Ganesh should not take the NDC as a serious party because of their double standard. It clearly shows how hypocrite they are. In fact, NDC is totally super incompetent. Sammy Jemfi would go to court and come and be chastising our judges. So I think Sammy shouldn't go near the court because he's going to lose Puto." And also from Sammy B, "Mr. Paul, the touchscreen journalist who says it as it is, good job and keep it up." And lastly, from John Yao, "Sammy Jemfi started feeling the heat and his real size when Dennis Miracles Abuaji started exposing the lies."
Okay, guys, Soko watching us from Adesu says, I will be very disappointed if Honorable Napo forgives Sammy Gyamfi on this issue. He should collect the last person to serve as a deterrent to people who think they can throw anything out to the public just for political points. After all, 500,000 cedis is just peanuts to Sammy Gyamfi. I pray the hearing and subsequent ruling from the appeal will be expedient so we can move on to other important things. We almost forgot this issue because it took so long. And from the Afro Optimist, he says, I'm watching from Kumbungu. I think people of all status must be made to face the full rigor of the law in matters of defamation and other related issues. It baffles me when some sects of people tend to politicize issues with outcomes by the judicial arm of government.
Okay, Sammy Gyamfi has a lot of money. They say he can pay 500,000. All right, somebody says here something that I really cannot verify, but he says, this is from PK Sapon, Whispers of the Corridors of, from the Thinking Man, something like that. PK Sapon says that in the course of the trial, Sammy Gyamfi actually went to Napo for an out-of-court settlement. He said Napo asked him to pay 40,000 to Osu Children's Home and also render an apology. Sammy Gyamfi said he will not do that. And then, so the case went on. We don't know. We can't verify it. It's true? Oh, yeah, you can verify. It says, Nana Jeba for the lawyer has humbled Sammy Gyamfi. Sammy Gyamfi lies too much, he says. The NDC changing the name, propaganda secretary to communications officer, wasted his time, etc. All right. So, yeah, you wanted to have the last one.
You are in court over a defamatory comment.
I can't comment on that. But,
yes. Similarly, I'm doing one for Honorable Asenso Boache. I think that we need to sanitize our political space using the court.
We believe so.
So we elevate the political discourse. Because this is not what we all witnessed from 1996.
Well, the vitriol has become too much.
Exactly. So I think
that baseless and
I think that let's encourage more of such actions
people
to cleanse our
But there was a text message that Angelo read, which is important. It says that the case has taken too long.
No.
Why do these defamation? Because that's what he's saying. We've all forgotten about it.
Paul, when it comes to court suits in Ghana, we look in England, on the average, it takes 19 months and they don't have a vacation. This case has taken 3 years and we have a vacation. 2 months vacation or 3 months vacation every year is 9 months of the 3
but for
years.
somebody's reputation, can't they make it quick?
No, Paul.
So they can settle it, whether the reputation is truly, properly, legally damaged.
Well, you know that the wheels of justice grind slowly.
But it's not criminal trial. So.
No, but 3 years, I think it is good. You don't also, because you see, you go through the motions, right? So I don't think it is bad at all.
Okay,
they are
all
not
right.
doing bad at all.
Okay, thank you very much. So we will now be doing the CK Akono interview. Just before then, we take our first break. Yes, that's important. We take our first commercial break. We come back. Thank you very much, Ba, for coming. And we wish you well and congratulations. After the break, CK Akono is here and the Damba Festival is here too.
World Cup 2022. Maybe say phone bang, home theater bang, TV bang soon
Hisense TV.
Hisense TV.
Hisense TV. Hisense Cello.
Push a World Cup for Hisense TV. Picture size picture no clear. Momentum full way now. So connect to Hisense home theater and the more Hisense TV. Commentary no. Obatin say gig him. As the original hobby. Kenya say, yes, that's the World Cup match. No one can traffic me. And when you have Hisense smartphone, and dance so. Shower phone so. Picture the sound. And clear. Qatar 22 World Cup. Yes, but I was share no feeling. Yes, him sense your tons for my heading. Madam Hisense, Martin to say. Who? And the 20 Hisense World Cup triple promo. Every 20th October, and 28th November. Mobile phone, sound system, TV, one Tobia, one year home. Yet that's a crime, I'm real. Hisense one about 5 years warranty. Promo way, our Hisense showrooms, our Ghana for Nina. Hisense, everyday prices, for everyday people.
Over 18 years in business, Appointed Time Printing Limited has delivered quality service to some of Ghana's well-known brands. With our equipment capacity, we are able to deliver 1,500 pieces of polo and t-shirts in 1 hour. This is only possible with us. For retailers and wholesalers, we offer for sale high-quality polo shirts and t-shirts in different colors at affordable prices. We have a one-stop shop for all creative designs and billboards, 3D signages, flexi banners, car branding, stickers and posters. Locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 4541 65, 0501 4541 67. Connect with us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Appointed Time GH. Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is a...
There are days when you think, whoa, today I've earned it. So order a Glovo. Days when plans run longer. Or days when you can't control everything. Oh yes, Glovo. You order, we deliver.
A state-of-the-art facility built with your family needs in mind. A medical center positioned for all your fertility problems and other diseases. Medimosis Clinic and Prostate Center. Our goal is to help our patients achieve and maintain optimal health. We have fully functional OPD laboratories in all our branches. Do you have problems urinating? Medimosis is the ultimate solution. Our Prostacure X capsules and Prostacure Herbal Tea treat prostate problems. Afromosis capsules gives you maximum performance, and for the ladies, Femacure X capsules solves all your menstrual problems. Locate Medimosis Clinic and Prostate Center at Adenta Barrier near the traffic light, Ashaman, Ajekojo, Kumasi, Ahirima Kokobing, and in Accra, Ministries after the Ghana Highways Yard. Call 0244 068 447. We accept National Health Insurance card and all other private insurance card. Medimosis Clinic and Herbal Center, your ultimate solution for prostate problems.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Last night we had a great invite. We attended the house of CK Akono, legendary Black Stars captain and former Black Stars coach. CK Akono has a beautiful home. I was very, very impressed, and he took us around. He has a beautiful gallery of photographs and awards that he collected. We filmed that. For lack of time, we'll put that on social media. It's a very interesting conversation here. He walked us through his photographs, and so he has a philosophy wall of Nelson Mandela, then Barack Obama, and Che Guevara, Emperor Haile Selassie, and Bob Marley, and he told us why he has those photographs over there. And then he showed us all photographs of his playing time. He showed us his medals and which medal is most important to him, etc. And then he showed us his family time. Did you know that he was a model in Germany at some point? Okay, he showed us all of that. That will be on social media, so watch out for that. We will not be able to put that on TV because of lack of time. However, the most important parts of the interview will be on TV right now. We first asked CK Akono about this whole issue of juju in Black Stars camp. We also asked him about his playing time and his time as a coach. Then we asked him about player selection, whether he gets pressure from officials of the GFA and officials of the government and other people to field players. And we asked him whether he has been truly well treated by the government and the sports fraternity in Ghana since he left the Black Stars job. You'll hear all of that. And then after that, I have a personal appeal to make to the people of Ghana. All of us, let's join a hashtag and say that please pay CK Akono his money before the World Cup. Let's join a hashtag and say that. I'll make an appeal, and in the appeal, I'll give you the details of that. So the first segment, which is 14 minutes, is CK Akono telling us about whether there's juju in football and whether there's juju in the Black Stars camp. Here it is. All right. The guy looking for me. Sunday to mean spiritual work. I believe there's juju in football. The spiritual, human beings are spiritual people. That's why we don't know what time we sleep. And you can see something happen, as they call it, deja vu, in a dream, and then you see it happen live. So it happened before it happened. So yes, spirituality works in everything. In Ghana, we call it juju. So juju in football. Is there some particular juju in the Black Stars camp?
See, this is a question that goes with the individual. You know, from where I grew up, my foundation was built in Christ, in Jesus Christ, and so I dwell on that. Whether Kweku is doing something, I don't know, and I wouldn't care. Yeah. But if we go to the Bible, when Moses was at Pharaoh's house, he brought out snake, and they also did it. Yeah. It tells you there's something, there's some spiritual something. So it's the individual.
Yeah, but if you go to if there's juju there.
How would you know there's juju there?
So I believe in my spirituality is my juju. So I brought my pot, and it's a smoking pot. I keep it in my room. I bring it to the training ground.
You can't bring it on in the training ground. You can't.
Okay, but I can bring small
you
powder.
have something.
Powder, small powder. I put on it. Can I do that? Can I do small powder on the training ground? Maybe the pot is too big.
I don't know if you do it. That is why I said,
if I enter the field for training at the time, I have some white powder put on my face becomes white.
That's what you believe. Okay, that's what you believe in. That's what you believe in.
It's a controversial issue, isn't it?
It is.
Because some people criticize the juju, and I say that if people take pastors to camp. Yeah, there's some Nigerian players were taking pastors to World Cup camp.
It's what they believe in.
As a coach, would you allow anything like that?
You see, these things are done secretly. You hear of them. You understand me? When we are in camp.
But if you are calling the players to come to training and they say that player X is seeing his malam, he will come after 20 minutes.
No, it won't happen.
You have to come.
It won't happen. Time of training, you can't say, I'm seeing somebody. It will never happen. Even the player himself will not do that. What really happens is probably when they are in their rooms. They do their thing, you know, and I don't know.
Why don't you ban it? Why don't you ban? Don't do anything.
I'm not in that position to do it, and moreover, it's something you believed in. You know,
if the other player is afraid, if another player thinks that my spirituality is afraid of it,
that's why I said. You see, these things you will not see them. You hear.
As a coach, you hear, but the players say that
if a player comes to me,
I said, look, this guy every night is doing.
Then I will do something about it.
What will you do if you come to me and you say, "Why am I doing Nyamiyorengi in the night?" I'm praying.
I will confront the player, and if I feel it, then I have to change the room for. He has to get a different room.
Yeah, but the guy is afraid not just because he's near his room. He's just afraid that when the guy was doing Nyamiyorengi, I had my name in it. Something like that.
That's not true.
And then and he says that the same thing happened when we came for the last friendly, when I went back to Europe, injury.
I think there is this thing that players do, pray and blah blah and all that, but we've sort of exaggerated too much.
Oh, but even recently, Paul Pogba's brother, I don't know if you've heard the story.
You know what the brother wants.
Yeah, he took the witch doctor to destroy Mbappe's legs.
Yeah,
and all that.
But you know it's not true because the brother. Money, So they created this story. They created it.
So when you were playing football, did you do juju before?
Me, I always pray.
But as a team, Okoro United, Goldfields, does a juju man come to the camp and do something small?
You have what they say, Osofo or whatever. He come and lead you in prayers, and then you win or you win. You know. These things are there.
Did you put crab in your boots?
Never. Never. I'm that type of person. My colleagues, those I played with, will tell you. Most of the time when we are about to start, I will stand on in the center line. I was some 91. He will dwell in the secret place of the Most High. I shall abide under the shadow of Almighty. I will say, "Oh, the Lord is my refuge, my fortress, my God." You know, I will say all this.
In the center line?
In the center, and then cross. Then when we start again, within the next few minutes, I will score. It is my belief.
Somewhat.
91.
He who
dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord is my refuge, my fortress.
That's what Siki Akono does.
Yeah, I will do it.
So when the camera sees you talking, this is what you are saying.
Yeah, you see, so
you are not saying Nyamiyorengi.
No. You know, when you see me, you think I'm saying chanting. They say, this guy, Pedro Pa, or Pedro Pa. You know, and people believe I was doing something of that sort. Because
you were a star, you were great.
I used to score funny goals and I shoot. And so later on I called a guy and say, and he said, Sana, where? Because of Pedro Pao. You know, like so it is what we think and what
Did you
we
score that goal in Tlemcen? The first one, was it you?
Is Algeria, right?
Algeria.
Yeah, I
you?
scored. Yeah.
Yeah, that night I cried. It
was sad.
Yeah,
I would have been.
You scored that goal.
Yeah,
the first one.
The first one. Yeah,
because we went mad at Presec. We went crazy. CK could not put the ball in there. It was that kind of goal you are trying to describe.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Yeah,
very
and then you know, if you have Pele and
when you scored the goal, the Abedi's celebration was very wild. So the camera picked him first. Before you ran to the corner's post when you scored the goal. I think Ali Ibrahim or somebody like that followed you.
Yeah, I think so.
Abedi was ecstatic and he went another way. So the camera was on
of
him.
Course.
So
even the cameraman expected him to score. So
yeah.
It's normal.
And then they equalized.
And then
we got
they cheated.
Yeah. Or did they cheat? They didn't cheat.
Oh,
it was just that
they took us somewhere.
Yeah, the conditions.
Yeah, conditions and everything. So you know.
But FIFA was not.
They wouldn't. Yeah.
What they do? They put you in a cold place or something.
Yeah.
It was winter time.
But some of us were already in Europe, so
we were accustomed to the winter.
It's just that it didn't go well. And then
but
I think
put water on the field.
Yeah,
like that?
A lot of strategy. You know, in terms of cheating and. If it had been now, it wouldn't happen.
Let's talk about unity in the team. We'll talk about your Black Stars and this Black Stars. Your Black Stars, they said there was no unity. Tony Yeboah was fighting with Abedi Pele for leadership and position. CK Akono was with Abedi Pele. The Accra boys were with Abedi Pele. The Kumasi boys were with Tony Yeboah. So that's how you pass on the field. So something is it true?
These things were there. You know, honestly, today I'm old enough to say it. You know, it was there, but I think. Mostly the people around the team also
made it worse.
You understand me? I remember when we even went to Bochum.
The Bochum disaster. I remember the 6-1.
Yeah, we were about to leave, and then Pele came.
About to leave from where to where?
To the match.
From the hotel.
Yeah, from the hotel, and then Pele came late, and it was too much of the person was the captain.
Who was the captain?
Pele.
Yeah, he was the
captain of the team.
But he was late.
Yeah,
and the band had been given to another player.
Yeah, you know. But I don't see any issue with it.
Issue with what?
Probably he came in late, too late.
Yes.
But he's the captain. That one we can't deny it.
So your point is that once the captain has arrived,
he's
the captain.
And he's ready to play. It's okay. You understand me?
Why? Those who had the band didn't want to give it to him?
We waited too long before the match.
Captain issue.
For the match, before we were ready to go, and then we heard
he has arrived.
He has arrived. The maestro has arrived. So
he flew from Paris. He must have flown from Paris to Germany.
Yeah, probably.
At the time, Germany was world champions after 1990.
Yeah.
And Ghana was coming up as a big African country after Cameroon.
So all that I'm saying is that we have a captain. That one is established.
Okay, but by the time he wasn't coming, I think there were not many mobile phones in the world at that time. So by the time he wasn't coming,
we were in Europe at that time.
Yes, by the time he wasn't coming, did they call him and he said, "I'm not coming"?
I don't know about that.
It is officials who will know.
Yeah,
so I should ask.
I'm saying,
I should ask Nana Butler.
Maybe Nana Butler or
Alaji Jaula.
Jaula. They will know more. You know. So these things were mostly.
So you were thinking that the captain has come. Give the band to him. Let's move on.
Maybe his behavior of maybe coming late or whatever they have to deal with it.
Okay, I get your point. You can punish him for coming late.
You can
but as for the band, it is his.
It's the captain. So
who was the deputy captain in the? Was there a deputy captain?
I think Tony Yeboah
was the deputy captain.
I think so.
Okay,
yeah, I think so. I was a little bit young, and my memory is all not too.
Yeah, I get it.
You know,
so when he came, then you people spent a lot of time arguing about the band.
I think they were talking, and we were. You know, you can imagine when we were ready.
We
were ready, and then you know what happened?
No.
We went to the game.
Halftime.
Yeah,
1-0.
1-0 till I think 20 minutes to foot or 25 minutes. 6 goals.
What happened on the field? Was there a problem? Was there a substitution?
Yeah, I think
arguments.
No, but you see, when you are not sound outside.
But the first half you were brilliant.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Halftime we were celebrating.
Yeah, we thought we were gone, and then the coach also made some changes which
didn't help. I remember Moses Famwini, who was the coach for the day with Papa Pencil. Moses said this is a horrendous substitution.
The change
we had never heard that before.
Was not good, and it's obviously.
What role did you play in that game?
I was the one to block Effenberg.
He was a left.
Right. He was playing against me right back, but he was more attacking.
Oh yeah, he was. So Stephen Effenberg.
And he crossed, go. So when I went out. The coach took me out. I think took Frimpong Manso also out.
It was the Frimpong Manso substitution that everybody complained about.
Yeah. then it blew everything.
Oh, so when he
But
took
I think
you
he
on,
was-
Effenberg now had the
Yeah.
free range to go.
And
But
then-
is it not the same coach who put you on Stephen Effenberg? He said.
Yeah.
So why was he taking you out?
I don't know.
No, you seem to know, but you don't want to say
I mean, you know, so these were the issues. But I'm saying that sometimes football is
Did you
played-
offend the coach? Why was he taking you out? Why did he take you out?
Let's
and take
leave
Frimpong
that
as
part.
well?
Oh, I didn't do anything. I didn't offend him.
Didn't you complain to Abedi Pele when they were taking you out at Maestro?
You can't. I was young. I mean, I was, you know.
Was Abedi surprised when the
I
team
wouldn't
went
know.
up?
I wouldn't know.
Were you surprised?
I was surprised.
Or you were not told that you are up for substitution?
No. Of course,
They
the
can't
coach
talk to
will
you.
look at the game tactically and then make the change.
So when the player substitute you arrived, you didn't think it was your number they were going to raise?
I basically I was surprised he stopped me. Yeah, that's all.
In the second half, middle of the second half.
In the middle of the second half, you know.
And then after that, they scored 6 times.
Frimpong got injured. Samuel
Yeah.
got injured, and then he also went down, and everything went back. So if you talk of
unity
and all that, there were a few things which could be managed
better.
But I think I blame more. You know, players come with egos. You know, and you have to manage it.
As the leadership,
As
coach,
yeah,
and management.
You know, and yeah. Later on, I had so many. When I got older, I got into the no. I had a lot of stuff which, if that is the truth,
Stuff happening when you were playing.
yeah,
that you didn't know about.
I didn't know. And if it was the truth, then there's no reason why it was the way it, you know. So
when you were coaching, years later, same problem. They said there's no unity in Black Stars. John and Ayu are this.
You see, my time, Kufuor was the one who could
speak.
No, if there will be any kind of issues between the ego, Sami Kufuor, he didn't do that. He was amazing.
I see.
You know, I remember when I was taken off as the captain, and they wanted to give it to him. I don't know if you know that. He said no. Have you spoken to CK? And at that time, we were the guys in Germany. We were
the big guys.
big guys in Germany. So I spoke to him. I called him. Hey, Charlie, this was happening. I said, what? And then later on, he showed that kind of unison between us.
Why were you taken off as captain? Politics.
Politics, reason. And then now we are talking of.
Who was captain before you became captain?
Of course, I took over from
Maestro. Oh, no, you became captain a long time ago.
Yeah.
So Maestro stopped playing, 2006? He didn't make it to the 2006.
No, after 98, I think.
2002, Burkina, he didn't play.
Burkina, he was there. Afterwards, he stopped.
Okay, so you started in 2003-4 as captain.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And you took his number 10 shirt.
No, I didn't. When we were going to go into the tournament, that's when
You took the shirt?
I took the shirt. And I was just
But
saying,
why did you want to move from 11 to 10?
I don't know. People talk. I don't know why I did that. And then
Do you regret it?
Oh, I did.
You shouldn't have done that? Do you regret
I
You
regret doing it, yeah.
Why?
Because it wasn't my number. I was comfortable with the 11 shirt I was wearing every time. Now I'm the captain, going to a tournament. I'm Befiru Bodo. Look at me.
And they said, take 10.
Take 10, blah, blah, blah. And I took the 10 and I
Did you consult Maestro before taking the 10 for his blessing that you are wearing his shirt?
That's the issue. I didn't do that.
You didn't humble yourself enough to
I
consult
didn't do. Me too.
So that was the problem.
Oh, no. I'm just saying. But I wasn't, the 10 shirt, even they were using it against this boy.
Kojo
Asamoah.
Yeah.
Every time. Talk. Over. We do too much talk on certain things which are not.
But I bet
we're petty.
Andre Ayew. Word is that Andre Ayew had wanted the 10 shirt for a very long time.
Okay.
And that's why Kojo Asamoah says he doesn't want it. Because Andre wants it, so Andre can have it. It's his father's shirt. He can have it.
It can't be his father's shirt. It's not his father's shirt.
But it is his father's shirt.
His father was the maestro.
Yes, so his father had the 10. He
shirt.
has the 10.
Yeah. I mean, he feels, he admires it, he likes the number. Why not?
When you were appointed Black Stars coach, did you call Abedi and say, I'm coaching your two sons? Is there any advice? You know them better.
I've been to
see him?
To see him several times.
I see.
Not just him.
All the other players.
Some of the big guys.
Okay, that was CK Akono part 1. Now we go to CK Akono part 2, where he's comparing his playing time with the playing of today, and he's telling us what's the difference. He played, he captained, and he's been coach. Hear his testimony, very interesting. So, coach, tell me, as a player, which was the best game that you played in? However you look at it, which was, if you can have one game.
Well, I think I just showed you some one of the medals, you know, which was the World Cup under 20. I had the best group. The atmosphere was very good, it was fantastic. We played to the finals and we almost won it.
Under 20 World Cup. This was in Australia.
Australia, yeah.
It was a good tournament for you.
Good tournament, good group.
What were the group stages? Who did we beat? Is that the one we beat England in the quarterfinal?
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
And I think
Gago scored that. Goal.
Scored. I think Danado as well. I scored when we played Portugal for us to qualify. You know, to the next
day. Oh, we beat Portugal as well.
Yeah.
So we beat England, beat Portugal. Oh, that was a great.
I think it was the best group. I mean,
which year was this?
93.
So why couldn't we then make it to the 94 World Cup? By that time was ready, the qualifiers.
Yeah.
But 98, that team.
I think we kept the team for a while.
Why couldn't you make it to the 98 World Cup?
Because you see,
which was the France World Cup.
Yeah. But we didn't qualify, did we?
We didn't. So I'm asking that if we did so well in 93 with that team, it was a very good team.
One of the problems we had, or maybe we still have, is how to keep the groups. You know, for instance, for under 20,
the graduation of the
and I think we somehow, some of the players still continue to be good. Udate, Kufuor, Augustina Info, Gago, we all played in the national team, you know. And so I think we kept a chunk of.
Did you play in the? Okay, but you didn't play in 92 in the African Cup?
No. At all. But I did play for a qualifier match in Burkina Faso.
Qualifier to the 92.
To the 92.
That qualifier that we played Nigeria and played Benin.
Yes, I was
to play the Benin game.
I went with the group.
This Buka Caesar's team.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
In Burkina Faso, I played. When we played in Nigeria, I think where Pele was not part of it. I was part of the group, but I didn't dress. I wasn't not even on the bench, but I was part of the group.
Oh, I see.
I was very.
The Surulere Stadium, the bonus draw. The penalty was missed by the Nigerians. Edward Ansan was the goalkeeper. I understand.
But of course, when we were going to the tournament in Senegal, I wasn't part of it. I was dropped.
Which one is your best?
Kotoko. When we qualified to the money zone.
Oh, that was good.
It was a difficult moment. Nobody believed it, but the group, myself, we kept pushing and kept believing.
How many goals did you score that day? Kotoko scored. Was it 1-0?
I think 2-0, 2-1.
At the Kumasi Stadium. You enjoyed being Kotoko coach?
I enjoyed that moment. Of course, you know, my defining moment as a coach for people to believe was with Ashgood. Ashgood was down. And I went there. You know, nobody believed.
And you are an old player of Ashgood.
Yes. So
when you were 17 years old, were you Kotoko or Haas supporter?
To be honest with you, I was Haas.
You Haas.
But I became to love Kotoko.
Why?
Because of what I experienced. You know?
When you went there.
When I went there, just recently. You know? So my house, my family was with Haas. My father.
But that's a
Haasman, yeah.
The
house
itself. Kotoko coach, you're a Haasman, and Kotoko playing Haas and Haas scoring.
I will see the more professional in a professional way. If I'm with Kotoko, I want to beat Haas. If I'm with Haas, I want to beat Kotoko. You know, no doubt about it. But
so when you went to Haas as a coach, did you feel like you have come home?
I felt I was working, and I had to be professional and give all my best for the team. I don't look at it from that fun perspective, but as a job that it's been given, they pay me. I have to give my best to the club. And
the Black Stars that you coached, the Black Stars that you played in, which was a better team?
You see, you played with the maestro himself,
I know that.
And so you don't have that kind of class.
As a player, which was the best game that you played in? However you look at it, which was, if you can have one game.
Well, I think I I just showed you some one of the medals, you know, which was the World Cup under 20. I had the best group. The atmosphere was very good, was fantastic. We played to the finals and we almost won it.
World Cup. This was in Australia.
Australia, yeah.
It was a good tournament for you.
Good tournament, good group.
What were the group stages? Who did we beat? Is that the one we beat England in the quarterfinal?
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
And I think
Gago scored that. Goal.
Scored. I think Danado as well. I scored when we played Portugal for us to qualify. You know, to the next
day. Oh, we beat Portugal as well.
Yeah.
So we beat England, beat Portugal. Oh, that was a great.
I think it was the best group. I mean,
which year was this?
93.
So why couldn't we then make it to the 94 World Cup? By that time that was ready. The qualifiers.
Yeah.
But 98, that team.
I think we kept the team for a while.
Why couldn't we make it to the 98 World Cup?
Because you see,
which was the France World Cup.
Yeah. But we didn't qualify, did we?
We didn't. So I'm asking that if we did so well in 93 with that team, it was a very good team.
One of the problems we had, or maybe we still have, is how to keep the groups. You know, for instance, for under 20,
the graduation of the
and I think we somehow some of the players still continue to be good. Udate, Kufuor, Augustina Info, Gago, we all played in the national team, you know. And so I think we kept the chunk of them.
Did you play in the okay, but you didn't play 92 in the African Cup?
No.
At all,
but I did play for a qualifier match in Burkina Faso.
Qualifier to the 92.
To the 92.
That qualifier that we played Nigeria and played Benin.
Yes, I was
to play the Benin game.
I went with the group
to Bukka Caesar's team.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
In Burkina Faso, I played. When we played in Nigeria, I think where Pele was not part of the group. I was part of the group, but I didn't dress. I wasn't not even on the bench, but I was part of the group.
Oh, I see.
I was very.
Yeah, the Surulere Stadium, the goalless draw.
Yeah.
The penalty was missed by the Nigerians. Edward Ansan was the goalkeeper at the time.
Yeah.
I understand.
But of course, when we were going to the tournament in Senegal, I wasn't part of it. I was dropped.
Which one is your best?
Kotoko. I think when we qualified to the money zone.
Oh, that was good.
Was a difficult moment. Nobody believed it, but the group, myself, we kept pushing and kept believing.
How many goals did you score that day? The Kotoko scored that day? Was it 1-0?
I think 2-0, 2-1.
At the Kumasi Stadium. You enjoyed being Kotoko coach?
I enjoyed that moment. You know, of course, you know, my defining moment as a coach for people to believe was with Ashgood. Ashgood was down. And I went there. You know, nobody believed.
And you are an old player of Ashgood.
Yes. So
when you were 17 years old, were you Kotoko or Haas supporter?
To be honest with you, I was Haas.
You Haas.
But I became to love Kotoko.
Why?
Know, because of what I experienced. You know,
when you went there?
When I went there, just recently. You know. So my house, my family was with Haas. My father.
Father's a Haasman.
Haasman, yeah.
So
the house itself.
Kotoko coach, you're a Haasman, and Kotoko are playing Haas and Haas scoring.
I will see the more professional in a professional way. If I'm with Kotoko, I want to beat Haas. If I'm with Haas, I want to beat Kotoko. You know, no doubt about it. But
so when you went to Haas as a coach, did you feel like you have come home?
I felt I was working, and I had to be professional and give all my best for the team. I don't look at it from that fun perspective, but as a job that it's been given, they pay me. I have to give my best to the club. And
the Black Stars that you coached, the Black Stars that you played in, which was a better team?
You see, you played with the maestro himself,
I know that.
And so you don't have that kind of class
in the Black Stars that you coached.
In the Black Stars that I coached.
But you played with maestro, and you coached Ayu, his son.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
You coached Jordan, his son.
Yeah,
still
they're all good in their generation, but maestro.
So the Black Stars that you played in had better quality players.
I would say so.
But they didn't achieve.
They didn't achieve, exactly. And what we have now.
Is it just the names that you make we feel?
No. You see, when
Michael Essien did more in Europe than Abedi Pele did.
Yeah.
So is it that?
No. Pele also won the Champions League.
Michael Essien won it more than once, didn't he? Can't remember.
I'm not sure.
Won the English Premier League so many times.
Yeah. But Pele also won.
And he played for Chelsea, played for Real Madrid.
Pele also played for many clubs.
Yeah,
Marseille at his time.
Marseille
His
is not,
time,
Marseille is not
Marseille
Real
was
Madrid.
big. No.
But it's not Real Madrid. Michael Essien played for Real Madrid.
You know his time, his generation, how big Marseille was.
Yeah, I watched it. Marseille was big. They had Chris Waddle in there. They had
but to be honest with you, I think Essien's group, for me, I see as the best group.
Better than you played in.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Essien, Muntari, Jan, and their group was solid.
It looks like
was
that.
Very
the names are coming.
Yeah, was solid.
I can't remember who were at the back, but John Mensah and John Pencil.
You go into a game and you know that these guys will win.
Yeah, who was the goalkeeper? I'm trying to remember.
Olele.
Oh, Olele was the goalkeeper. Very, very good.
They were all solid.
So you think that team is a golden Black Stars?
Yeah.
Of the early since 2000.
And of course the captain also, they had a very good leader.
Yeah. So in the team, I'm trying to understand why you say they were a good team in the departments of the game, technically.
In every area.
Their striker was Asamoah Gyan.
Yes.
So he was a correct striker.
He was in his
Their
prime.
playmaker was who? Was it Muntari or Appiah?
Appiah, Muntari, even Antoniana. Is it Jonathan?
Antoniana, defensive midfielder. He came in.
They were all good. They were all good with the ball. They were guys who could play anywhere.
In the departments of the game, you won't say they didn't have a winger, for instance. That team, Appiah would have to do that work. They didn't have a left wing, right wing.
You see, you look at the team
is a striker,
and the way they play, the understanding, the idea of I'm running this way, and blindly they know, and they had that.
And then Kevin Prince Boateng came into that team. That was a good team. That was a really good team.
It was a solid team.
Yeah, that's the same team that drew 2-2 with Germany in the Brazil World Cup. And Germany eventually went to win the cup.
At that time, I mean, someone like Essien could easily fit in Brazilian national team. Easily.
Oh, that's another criteria to use, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that the team you are talking about, these players could fit into any national team.
Yeah, they were good. I mean,
Italy,
they were
in Germany, in England.
You look at our players then, AC Milan, Atimutari, Essien. Chelsea.
First team.
Olele was a goalkeeper in the Premiership.
Yes. First team goalkeeper.
So Rock of Gibraltar, what is his name? He was also
John Mensah. Yeah.
They were all solid. They were all good in their team and doing very well. So when they come down here, I mean,
what accounted for us to be able to get that generation and we have not been able to repeat it?
I think you see they all started with the under-17s and then they
the slighted
and they brought them up. They kept the core of the team up. They kept growing, and then at the time when they got into the national team, they were mature players. Coaches didn't need to.
Your team, the Black Stars, played 2 friendlies, Brazil and Nicaragua. I'm sure you watched it.
Yeah.
Are you confident?
Of course, I'm confident. We don't need to panic. This is our 4th time going to the World Cup. Yes, you played Brazil. Brazil is a big team. I mean, if you lose, of course, the first half wasn't good. Second half, the coach got it right by enough.
So if he had gotten the first half, second half in the first half, do you think we could have held them to a draw or beat them?
It could have been a different story, But of course, I'm saying you played Brazil, and therefore, if you lose, you have to cry. But of course, not to cry.
But we played Nicaragua. We should have equipped them.
We won.
1-0.
Maybe we're not too impressive, to the public, But I believe that he's done a good work. Now he knows. I'm looking for the team to improve in the next friendly match before the World Cup, which I believe he will do it. He's got a man around him, in the name of the likes of Didi Dramani, Boateng, and of course Chris. I think they are all knowledgeable about the game. They understand.
Do you know all of them that well?
When I was the coach, I met Chris in London. We had I met Boateng as well. I was supposed to work with him, so I went there to have a discussion. And this level of understanding the game is good, no doubt about it. Didi Dramani, I work with him almost everywhere. I mean, Right to Dream, we were colleagues, and so I do know all these guys, and I know that they will help Otuado to.
There's a new debate in football circles, and they discuss it at the University of Ghana field when they are playing in the morning. 2 days ago, I had Mohamed Polo. I asked him. Everybody is the footballing world is completely divided. Asamoah Gyan to return to the team. So his supporters, Asamoah Gyan supporters, are saying, and incidentally, he has a lot of journalists supporting him, that look, the guy can put the ball in the net. Let him go. Roger Miller did it. It worked. So there's no harm in adding him to the team. There's no problem. Those who don't support Asamoah Gyan says the guy has not played football in 3 and something years. So what is the point? Why are you bringing him back? He's retired. Mohamed Polo says that let him play one friendly. Let's see. It will be obvious whether he can play or not. So let him play. Where do you stand with Asamoah Gyan?
It's more tactical. I mean, we should leave it to the coach to decide. But of course, if you ask me, if I were the coach, you look at fitness level and what he's doing. You know, if that you are convinced about that, and then
whether he's active or not.
Yeah.
So it's not a straight no or a straight yes.
Yes. Yeah.
It depends on.
Yeah. But more or less, I think.
Is it because it is any ex-player, or it is because it's Asamoah Gyan who?
You see, we are worried. We are worried about goal scoring, and he's done it.
All the time, yeah.
All the time, you know. And so, I'm not worried. I'm not too worried about the discussion because people are worried. We are not scoring. Of course, now we have Inaki, who is also good. He's been doing well, you know. I seriously think if the coach could build the team around certain players, Inaki, Kudus, Partey, and some few, we could do it.
I think Inaki, Kudus, Partey could be our 3.
Obviously, they need to be fit. They don't need injuries and stuff will hinder that progress, that plan. But if they are injury free, but I think we're going to the World Cup, and this is the 4th time we're going. We shouldn't panic.
But our group is not simple.
Yes, I know.
We are playing Portugal. They will have Javi Hernandez. Is that his name? The Manchester United player.
You know, he called the names.
They will have Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
It's not that simple. I don't know whether Pepe still plays, but
I don't know.
But Portugal, we have Portugal.
Yeah,
we have Uruguay.
We've played them before, haven't we?
That's your generation.
No.
In World Cup.
The 90 in Brazil, we played them.
The Brazil 2014.
Yeah, we played them.
But they beat us.
Yeah, but
we played them.
We played them. I'm saying that, you see, we talk of Uruguay as well.
Yeah.
When you hear of Uruguay, any Ghanaian is mad. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We should calm down.
Do you think Asamoah Gyan's desire to erase what happened in 2010's World Cup, the penalty, he seems to feel, I interviewed him, he seems to feel that he owes Ghanaians something. So he's going to kill himself, get fit, get into the World Cup, and give Ghanaians what they deserve. That is the burning desire that he tells me about. Because what happened in that penalty, he says he doesn't understand it.
I was there myself. You know.
Are you in the stadium? Yeah.
I was shocked, you know.
But the ball was heading to the goal.
Yeah, I can understand how he feels, but we should not look at it in a way of revenge.
Yeah, but we should.
No, you're going into a tournament, and you need to come out good in the group, so you qualify for the next stage. You could win Uruguay and go out.
Yes.
Then what?
No, by the time we play Uruguay, we play Portugal first. Then we play Korea, South Korea. But that's also a difficult game, don't you see?
All the games. That is why it's important not to focus on one team.
Were you also interested in going to Europe and trying to get Inaki and others to sign for Ghana? Did you do something like that when you were?
Of course, I've had Odwe. I spoke to him. Inaki.
Carlson Odwe?
Yeah, almost all of them. It was in the plan. And I sort of started with some of the guys. Yeah.
I see. So you're happy to see some of them.
Of course. Yeah.
When you were playing, when you went to Germany, did you see some Ghanaians in those days? Or there was nothing?
Lots. Otuado was one of them.
Yeah, he was one of them for sure. Yes.
We managed to bring him.
Oh, okay.
Me, myself, Kufo, and Anthony Buffo.
Oh, you were part of those who convinced Otuado to come.
Yeah, and Gerard as well.
Gerard Asamoah.
Yeah. So, not just there was this boy who played in Denmark. I've forgotten his name. But we managed to.
So we're doing that even then.
Yeah, as a player. Yeah.
Tony Buffo himself came. He could have played for Germany. He came to play for us.
Yeah.
So
there are lots of them. Some of them are eager. Now it's more attractive. We're going to the World Cup, so they are coming themselves, and you know. That
was a bit of a mix-up. Social media viewers, sorry, you were watching a a Damba situation, Damba dance situation that we intended to record in the studio and show it later on. Somehow it leaked into our social media feed. So viewers on social media, you started watching that before the CK Akono interview continued. We are really sorry about that, but everything about CK Akono's interview will actually be on social media tomorrow morning. So the one that you missed, you can get it. But now we continue to the last and final segment of the interview with the legend. So we started by asking him in this segment to compare players, footballers, and he will tell us between this and that which one is good. And then we went on to ask him about the future of his career. And then he made the passionate complaint about finances. He has not been paid for a long time, and he was not paid for a long time when he was coach. CK is Ghanaian, so he's not going to report us to FIFA, but it's important that those of you who have the voices can whisper to the Minister of Sports, who's a particularly good man. I call him Victorious Minister of Sports because he took us to the World Cup. So our Victorious Minister of Sports, let's mention to him and let him find a place to sort this out for Mr. Akono. But here is the last segment of the interview. We started by asking him to compare players. Management members of GFA have teams, clubs, and therefore players. And so when it comes to the Black Star selection, general public hear all the time that management members are putting pressure on the coach to add this player and that player and that player. There's a broader conversation. It happens almost everywhere in the world. Parliaments have been discussing World Cup squad. People have been released from prison to play in the World Cup. Roger Miller's decision to play in the World Cup was backed by Paul Biya, the president at the time. He insisted that Roger Miller should go, and then he took him. So the debate is this. People think that the selection of the 23-man squad or the 30-man squad you are taking to World Cup, the coach cannot make that alone. We have to participate and point to Asamoah Gyan should be, but the 11 should be the coach's decision. Some also think that as for national team, we have a coach, but when we are going to World Cup, the coach must allow other opinions in making the decision. You have been there, coach, national team, all of that. First of all, what is your philosophy on this question? Should the coach allow journalists, other people to participate in the selection of the 23 or the 30, and he does the 11? Or should the coach pick his 35 and submit it to the FA, discuss with the media, discuss before they all agree and come out with a certain number of players?
Well, I think there's nothing wrong with suggestions. Somebody bringing out an opinion about players, and there's nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But the decision as to who will go on the field of play or who the coach wants to take must be left to the coach to decide. I think football, those who watch it understand it very well, and those who follow it, in the sense that everywhere we have fans where, like us, Kotoko supporter, they go everywhere with the team, so they know the players. So when they are talking, they are not just talking; they are talking from what they've seen, from experience. So you need to listen to them. But decision making as to who will play, who will not play, who then must be left to the coach.
When you were a coach, did you have pressure to?
This is something that is always there.
Did you succumb to the pressure to have this player?
It has always been a problem.
Not have this player and not have that player.
It has always been a problem. So, yeah. But
what does it mean? Say it has always been a problem about dealing with that situation.
Yeah, dealing with that, because
how does the pressure come? Do people call you? Do they go through your friends as politicians?
Of course, when you start with a selection of players who you are inviting and all those, and everybody bring out.
People start calling.
Because suggestions and stuff, and sometimes.
So, in that context, looking at what is happening right now, do you think a free Ebane that has superstar should be in the 23-man squad for the World Cup?
Again, I always leave it to the coach to decide.
You were coach,
but when I was there, he was most of the time with the team, but he didn't get a playing time as I personally would want to. But he's always been there. He's a good player, and so there's no doubt. But again, it's up to the coach to make that decision.
Of the players that we are bringing from Europe, which one excites you the most? There's Naki, there's Salisu at the back, there's Tariq Lamptey.
All of them.
Which one excites you the most?
It strengthens the team. It gives the team another style of play. It gives the team also more competition. It brings more competition in the team. And so those who were there before and they thought maybe probably it's a done deal for them, now they will sit up. And so I'm very, very happy that those guys have come. When I was there, we made our team several times. I had a chance of talking to Lamptey's father and all that. So, but I didn't succeed in getting them. So the fact that they are there and they are back, they are there to help and improve the team. So I'm happy about that. I'm excited.
That's very interesting. So you keep an eye on the Black Stars, and you're still watching.
Of course,
yeah.
I'm again.
Are you going to be in Qatar for the World Cup?
I'm not too sure. I'm working on something. Maybe I might go.
Yeah. Are you going to run commentary or
exactly.
do some? When you were Black Stars coach, did the media used to annoy you a little bit?
The media will always put pressure. Sometimes on true stories, this and that, and I get confrontation even with the FA. They said this, you said that, and it disturbs.
Something you haven't said.
Yeah, something that I have no idea.
And media have published.
Yeah, media have published, and then it looks like I'm the one.
Oh, behind it.
Behind it.
Oh, you are the one asking the media to publish.
Yeah,
that was a problem.
Yeah,
suspicion.
It was one of the things that really disturbs me, because when I've been confronted with such issues, it confuses me.
So you have been attacked. That's seeking. You have put the story out.
You have done it. There were a lot of things that I had no idea about.
When media put their story out, then they say
the story is out, but they're still doing it now.
Yeah, they're still doing it.
They're still doing it. I'm not there, but they're doing it, and it's rather unfortunate. But
do you think the sports media, should be sanitized?
Oh, it's their job, man. It's their job. It's what they do. That's what they do. I don't know. I mean, but things have changed. Yeah. Things have changed. When I was a player, before I became a national player, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. Of course, now it's different. It's different. It's sad. Sometimes it's just unfortunate.
I mean, the media were not giddy like that when you were.
It wasn't giddy, and it wasn't.
But your time, the media was just Kwabena Yeboah and Papa Pencil and
but
Joe Agri.
We had the likes of Ampofo. Yeah, Ampofo, they were also they were coming up. And,
they have started. That's true.
Yeah, it wasn't as huge as big as today.
Yeah.
So I do understand, but sometimes stories.
But you coach Asante Kotoko, and the Kumasi sports media is more brutal than.
When you listen to the radios,
so you must.
We are used to it. Yeah, we're used to it, but it's not the best. It's not the best. That's all I'm trying to say.
If the Otto Addo, the Black Stars coach, when he finally publishes his 23, is it 23 or 30 for the World Cup?
I think it will be 30. And then they will 26. But they will slash it down. Maybe.
So 26, when he publishes his 26 for the World Cup, they will slash it, 3 will come back, and that kind of thing. Oh, okay, 26 are going to the World Cup. What would you advise the media to do when the list comes out? Or what would you tell the media not to do when the list is
You see, first of all, if it comes out with the squad, it means he's done it.
Yes.
So there wouldn't be any need to criticize.
Why not?
You criticize, but he's taking it. He's taking the...
Yeah, but that's our work.
So we should
say that this is 20,
as much as we want to speak our mind in a negative way or whatever, I think we should try to be more positive.
Okay.
To be more positive.
So your advice to the media is at this stage, let's be positive.
Yeah, let's be positive, because where we've moved from where we were to a different level now. Now we're going to the World Cup. You understand me? The last 2 matches we played, fine. The next friendly match, I'm sure we'll see a lot of improvement, and then to the World Cup. So we need to be positive. Be behind the team and support them in good spirit.
You have been a player and a coach, and you know everything about football. Do you think that we shouldn't expect the highest standards of the World Cup because of the calendar? June, November, World Cup, league started in August. Is it going to affect the players?
No, I don't think so. I think they would rather be in their good shape. At that time of the season, players are really doing well.
They're on top, yeah?
They're on top of their... So
when you play the World Cup in June, when the season ends in May, they have to pick themselves up. So this is better.
Yeah, it is. It is good.
But you don't have a lot of preparation time.
Yeah, you will not get it. That is also the difficult part of being...
So we shouldn't expect a lot of telepathy and gelling among the teams?
Well, it will come by itself, in a way that... the technical team know what to do. They will... There's a lot to do off the field of play, and then add it on the field of play in terms of theory work. what they have to tell them, videos and technology data and all those, and they will use it, and then of course apply it with the little time they have in terms of training and then friendly matches. So I think once they do that, it will go well.
So right now you are not working?
I'm not.
So are you looking for a job?
I'm looking forward to do my coach badges.
Or you're going back to coaching?
Yeah, I want to do my
UEFA license.
UEFA license A.
Oh, you've done B already. Okay.
A and then pro license, and I'm working hard on that. And of course, learning more of the technical aspect of the work.
But has Folk have sacked their coach?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
So if they call you tomorrow for the league season?
No.
You might not do it.
I want to learn more, educate myself more on the coaching job, and of course the technical directory side of work as well.
Okay. So finally, let me ask you. Before I come to the comparison, do you feel well treated after you left the Black Stars job? We hear rumors that you have not been paid and all that, but we don't know the details. Do you feel well treated? Do you feel unhappy?
No, I feel unhappy. I've been sacked as a coach, and I think whatever is due me has to be given to me, and they've not. It's almost over a year now.
Have you asked them?
We've had meetings upon meetings with my lawyers. We've spoken. They know exactly what they have to do, and you call, they don't respond to your call. They don't say anything, and it's just unfortunate.
Are you dealing with the FA, the ministry, the government?
The FA, not more of the sports ministry. Yeah.
But who appointed you?
The FA, but it's the ministry who pays.
It's the ministry who pay.
Yeah. And so.
But were you given an official house to stay? Car when you were coach? Were you?
Nah.
Oh, because Apia used to have an official house.
I know.
You were not.
No, I wasn't.
You were not there.
Okay, welcome back to the show. We are going off Metro TV at this stage at 11:50. We are migrating to social media. So the CK Akono interview continues right here on social media. Good Evening Ghana Official on Facebook. That's where we continue. For our viewers on Metro TV, good night. Our viewers on Good Evening Ghana Official on Facebook, we continue.
Metro TV. Insightful and inspiring moments.
Has Christianity always been one of the religions in the world to you?
Oh, hallelujah. Christianity is not a religion, neither is it a joining of a church and doing the Christian things like praying and giving and so on. Hallelujah. Christianity is the outworking of God's own kind of life received into the spirit of a man. Whoa! This divine life in the heart of a man makes him righteous, keeps him healthy,